sure you've seen these rumors. Nick Austin and you, are you guys dating?
I'm just kind of focusing on my music and just trying to do my thing. And I also am trying to keep, any relationships or anything that I'm doing privately private.
Before we kind of get started, I mean, we're living in wild times right now. How has life been for you, I guess, since March?
It's been quite the roller coaster. It's been very turbulent and confusing, but I've been trying to make the best of it and keep sane and continue to make music in such a weird time. And I kind of actually was like coincidentally on a mental health journey, like at the start of it, when this all hit and when it was at its peak. So I think I kind of was able. At first, I thought it was a disadvantage because I was like, great, right when I finally am getting a control of my mental health, I'm like going to be forced into isolation, which is like the number one cause of, depression for a lot of people. And so I was pretty worried at first, but I feel like it was actually a blessing in disguise in a lot of ways because I actually was able to really focus properly and not have outlets like, going to your friends or going to parties or whatever it might be, like distracting me. I was able to really take like literally 2 months by myself and like just completely isolate and
Yeah.
know myself. I learned some French.
Did you really?
Yeah, that was the
What,
coolest thing I
what can you say in French now?
could say a few things. I could say something sweet like Je suis vraiment de toi, which means I think you'll never understand how much I love you. I can say mon petit cochon, which means my little pig. I could say really random stuff. Like it's really random, but I
Well,
bust it out.
you mentioned your mental health and like being on this journey. How are you doing now? Like, do you feel good?
Yeah, I think that that's like been a big part of this mental health journey for me. Has been realizing that I'm not always going to be good, and like if I say, I am good, it's okay if tomorrow I wake up and I don't feel good. And I feel like sometimes people kind of try to like categorize themselves and be like, well, I say I'm good, so then tomorrow if I wake up and I'm not good, something must be really wrong. But it's like, we're human beings and we're all very emotional creatures if you're anything like me. And so I think that it's been important for me to recognize that like every day is going to be different, and each day comes with its own struggle, and that's fine. And it's okay to be good one day and not good the next. I think that's important to note.
Yeah, 1,000%. You have been, despite quarantine. I feel like you've been booked and you've been busy lately. You performed Baby at the EMAs. You sang the national anthem at the Stanley Cup in, I think, September. How
Yeah.
is it to be performing during these times and with all these different like safety protocols in place?
Yeah, it's fun. It's just still is weird, like um the national anthem, for example, was filmed at a studio with no one around, whereas usually it would be on the rink when, arena or some kind. And it's just kind of a bummer that these things obviously aren't taking place in real life. Like, and I think it's great that, we're all adapting or trying to at least safely, but it's still, I'm someone who thrives off of like energy and people and my
Yeah,
fans and their voices and their energy. So it's been interesting for me.
of course. Is the performing though getting you more excited about this debut album?
Yeah, definitely. I just want to perform it. Like, I love performing and I love touring and singing and dancing. And just like, that's always what I've loved first is performing. So I hope that we end up able to do all of that. But yeah, I'm so excited for my album to come out.
It's called life support, right? Why are you calling it life support?
Life Sport felt like the perfect title when I was making it, because it really was such a lifeline for me, and it was really like one of the only reasons I got out of bed in the morning was to go make, not the only reason, was to go make this album. And it was like my motivation, and I thank it for actually like keeping me alive in a lot of ways. And I felt like I was falling into a really dark, heavy depression, and I was able to kind of work through it with making this album. It was very therapeutic for me, and it was my outlet, and I'm just really, really grateful for it. And whilst going to therapy, I was also going to therapy in the studio, so it was rewarding to say the
Yeah,
least, for sure.
that I feel like those are A, that's amazing, and I'm happy to know that you're doing well. But also, I mean, to think that like you were in such a dark place and music in a way sort of like pulled you out of that and saved you. What put you in that dark place to begin with?
I've struggled with my mental health the majority of my life. I have a lot of memories just always kind of having anxiety or always feeling this like overwhelming sense of depression that I could never seem to shake. And if I did, it was very momentary. It wasn't long lasting at all. And I just always kind of struggled and didn't have the verbiage or the um,
Well,
outlets or tools to, you know, get me help. And I think therapy, particularly, is something that's highly stigmatized and something that people kind of, there still is this like shame and guilt around it. I don't think that somebody would say, I'm going to get my nails done as freely as they would hopefully say I'm going to get therapy. I think that that's something that's very stigmatized, and it's unfortunate because therapy really helped me tremendously. And I encourage anyone who feels like they need someone to talk to try to find a therapist who can help you and understand you. But yeah, I wouldn't say anything in particular kind of got me there. I think it was just years of built up trauma and events that I had kind of overlooked and I chose to ignore and power through life pretending like everything was fine, and that catches up to you eventually. And I was getting triggered over things I didn't even know why or what. Like, it was just very confusing. And I think it's being somebody who really loves like to know things, and I like value knowledge so much, I was getting really frustrated with myself that I was official for me. And now I'm able to set boundaries and I'm able to be a healthier person for myself, and the people around me who love me know about a lot of stuff that I've dealt with throughout my life. And you have to have people who protect you, and I couldn't do it alone, and I'm very grateful to the people who guard me and help me out.
um, well, I love that you are trying to destigmatize therapy because I am all for therapy. I think it's super important. Do you feel like this album, from a songwriting perspective, is kind of about that journey, or like what do you feel is the real inspiration behind it?
Yeah, it was a breakup album, to be completely frank with you. And then I was like, I'm not reducing myself to my like breakup. I have so much more to talk about. And so I kind of was like halfway through the album, I was like, can we stop talking about him? And like, we did it and we got it. And now let's talk about like what I've dealt with throughout the breakup and whatever. So it definitely had surrounded my breakup, was like the biggest, I think, like pivotal conversation piece during writing it. But like, yeah, I just got to the point that I was like, I am not reducing myself to this and
Yeah.
not calling it a breakup album, and I'm not gonna allow anybody to like make it like that's what it is, because it's not. And my breakup was a part of it, but
Sure.
one chapter. I also want to note, there's my song Selfish, like there are times that I still get sad over somebody who I might have loved and dated, and I think that that's also something that I want to make sure that people who are receiving and consuming my music don't get misconstrued, because I made sure my album showed the variety and the juxtaposition of a breakup and how it actually goes, which is, the pendulum swings one way and then it swings the other. And one morning I could wake up feeling like a baddie and like I don't have to, never speak to him ever again, and who cares? And then the next day I could be sobbing hysterically reading through a scrapbook. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to make sure that that was something I showcased, because I was consuming a lot of music that was very either like be sad or go be a bad bitch. There's no in between. And I was like, there is an in between, and it's human for you to feel one day one way and one day the next. And I'm just like, that's what I really wanted to do. So yeah, I'm definitely past it, but it still is a part of me. And I am someone who takes relationships very seriously. It's a gift and a curse. And so I'll always, care for this person. But I think that I'm really grateful I've been able to channel a hard time into something, hopefully, that can help other people.
Do we know who this person is? Or you don't want to say his name?
It's honestly not even about anyone in particular. Like, I have been through a few breakups at this point, like two kind of big serious ones, but it wasn't really about either boy in particular. It was really just about my experience and what I went through from 15 to, I'm almost 22. From 15 to 21, I've pretty much been in relationships the entire time. And I don't know, it was just really more about an experience. And I have nothing but love for both of my exes.
What is the biggest thing that you hope we learn about you? Because I do feel like you've been in this industry for a while. I feel like we've watched you on red carpet since you were like 15, maybe even younger. So like, what do you hope we learn?
Just that I'm human and that we're all just human beings who are going through this very strange thing called life. And I think that I wanted to just show an honest side to myself. And I feel like I've been kind of someone who's been misunderstood by the people who have gotten to know me over the past few years, and I hope that the people who don't know me yet, I get to introduce myself on the right foot, and that's all I can hope for, and I'm really excited to get it out into the world, for sure.
Is it still gonna come out this year, or you think 2021 now?
Well, I mean, for everything that happened, unfortunately, we had to push it into 2021, but early 2021.
Okay.
It breaks my heart saying it because I wish it was this year, but you know, it was a very unpredictable year, and obviously we had to adapt. So yeah, early 2021.
I understand that. You've said in the past, I was watching just like old interviews today that you did, and you said there was a moment where everything was taken away, but like through those times, you feel like you became a better artist. And I'm just wondering how so.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of picked up and dropped by everyone who had first started working with me when I was 12 and just had started, and kind of felt, I don't want to say abandoned because I don't blame anyone, but that's how it felt as a child to, you know, have a whole team of people kind of like give up on you. This is how I perceived it. It was really tough, and I had to overcome it, and I had to kind of be like, you know what, I believe in myself, and even if all these people don't, I still do at the end of the day. And it was kind of this like self-fulfilling prophecy of like, you know, maybe this had to happen in order for me to gain my self-confidence. And I was like, you know what, I have to do this, and I'm gonna continue to do this, whether it's on my own or it's supported by, you know, some of the biggest people in the world. And I'm happy that I did, because I feel like I'm really proud of where I've gotten myself. And
Are you still close with those people? I think you're talking about Scooter, Justin.
I speak to Justin. Yeah, I just spoke to Justin recently. He's doing amazing. I adore him, and Haley, and yeah, I'm yeah, definitely still close to them.
Okay, well that's good to hear. So not all was for nothing.
No, there's no issues. That's always the thing too, is like, there's no bad blood anywhere. There's no problems. This is just how I, as a child, perceived the whole situation. And so, no, we're all completely good. I speak to all of them still, and there's no issues anywhere. And I'm nothing but abundantly grateful for the recognition they all provided me when I was so young. It was just hard to go through no matter what. So, yeah, that's it.
You came out the other side. I'm sure you've seen these rumors. Nick Austin and you. Are you guys dating? Are you trying to be single for a little bit? Are you focusing on yourself, or are you?
Yeah, I'm just kind of focusing on my music and just trying to do my thing. And I also am trying to keep, you know, any relationships or anything that I'm doing privately private. I'm definitely someone who believes in having a private life amidst all this. And if there's something that I want publicized, I can choose whether to have that out there or not.
I will say there were rumors, you don't have to answer this one either, but you and David Dobrik, did you see all these rumors?
David's one of my best friends.
Okay.
And I have actually been secretly married for like 4 years. No one knows.
That would actually be kind of epic.
Yeah, but I guess I just spilled the beans, so.
Before I let you go, I mean, you have this album coming out. I believe you launched a makeup collection back in September. What does the future of the Madison Beer empire look like?
I don't know, honestly. I'm just trying to get this album out. That's all I could really focus on right now, and just keep making music, keep inspiring, hopefully keep destigmatizing mental health, just things that I'm passionate about. Hopefully that's what I'll continue to do.